Hey guys, welcome back to another episode where we're building Questionly. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to be part of the community or part of any future giveaways. Now our mission statement for this project is to try and help people to ask the right questions to succeed. That's what I'm going with for now. It might somewhat change over time. So where did we get to? We have installed everything that we needed and for now, and we're going to begin now by setting up our Django project. So I've sort of got to set up our Django project, set up djoser Authentication Backend, then I want to test the user registration and I want to test the user sign in with the /me endpoint. So I'll do that bit by bit. So let's start by, firstly we want to check that we have Django installed, so we can do that like so. We do, and it tells us we've got 3.2. I'm going to use the Django command, Django admin start project, and the project's going to be called Questionly. So that should appear here now. Lovely. We can actually open this now with our editor. Yes, it's me. Okay. And we want to navigate inside here too. And the first thing we always tend to do is make sure the server's running. We have a bunch of unapplied migrations, but that's fine. So let's go 127. And there we go, our Django server is running. I don't know if I would say set up our Django backend project. I guess that's what we've done. The next step then is to, don't show again. The next step is to start actually configuring everything. Now I'm not sure how to do this in the series, right? I don't know whether to show every line of code I write, or whether to make that exclusive to subs, or to kind of just show bits and bobs of what I want people to see. I guess for now I can start recording, continue recording, and then just see where it leads me. So the next thing we're going to do is set up djoser Authentication Backend, because I do want it to be interesting too. And one of the first things we need to do, we can actually get up the djoser documentation. Djoser, that's sample usage, getting started. We're just going to do token authentication. So this is an example of how we can use it. That's on our checklist too. So we want these two, REST framework and REST framework. Oh, we want these three actually. So let's drop that into our install apps, like so. Okay, good. And then we want these URL patterns that are going to go into our URLs, which I'm just going to put here. Firstly, we need include. Oh, I don't want all of that. And if you've watched any of my authentication videos, then you'll see that I'm just doing the same as I've done there. Ooh. Boom. We're going to be using API v1, like so. Wonderful. So that's that done. Then we want this in our settings, which can go up here. And we need to get rid of this. So what's this? This is default authentication classes, and we're using REST framework.authentication.token authentication. I spoke about authentication briefly in the last video. Hopefully eventually we'll get to social logins too. Now JSON Web Tokens are technically better, but they're just a bit more work, and right now it's really just about building something that works for people. It's more work, it's slightly faster, but it's not necessarily more secure, because you still need to store something in local storage, at least the way I'd be doing it. So maybe at some point we'll fix that to be better. And do we want permissions? I know there's a default permission classes, and we can say REST framework dot permissions dot is authenticated. Okay, so basically what we're saying on any of our views, this is going to be the permission required to see that view. But we can always overwrite that specifically in the views, so it doesn't really matter too much. So we want to add that into the installed apps. We want CORS headers, middleware, under here. And then we want the CORS allowed origins, like so, which we can put up here. And it's not going to be any of these. Our first one will be this site, http 17.0.0.1. I don't know if we need to specify the port. Yes, we do. That's going to be port 8000. And then we want http localhost 8080. Now this is for our Vue.js frontend app, and this is the default origin and port. So that's pretty much it for this part. Now, unless there's anything I'm missing, there's a bunch of other rules we have that we can play with, but I don't really care about that, so that's good. Install is still working. Awesome. We can go to API, which is going to have... Oh, and this is because we haven't done the migration yet, so we can ignore that. If I bring this up again, we've set up the backend authentication system. So set up djoser Authentication Backend, we've done that. And now we sort of want to start testing it, so we also want to create a test user. Create a test user. Or admin. Create an admin. Python manage.py migrate. Python manage.py run server. Just to check that's working. What's going on here? API v1. So I've made a mistake somewhere. Maybe I haven't selected the right Python interpreter. So I don't think this is the correct one. Okay, so we want to go into the environment bin, Python 3, select this interpreter. I think this might be the issue. I had curly brackets. Okay, wonderful. So that was the mistake. So the mistake was that I had curly brackets here in the permission classes. And we can actually look at our endpoints by just putting anything here now. So we can do token login and token logout, which is all we really need. And then we've got a bunch of other endpoints, users we can use to create a user. And then there's a bunch of other things we can do too, that I'm sure we'll make use of. So next, I want to go ahead and create an admin user. So let's kill the server. Python manage.py create super user. And username is admin, and email is admin@example.com. It's really just I need a password. I'm going to use a password manager. That I use for everything. That was probably a bit overkill. I could have just used a rubbish password. Python manage.py run server. We've now created a user, which will allow us to go ahead and check the admin endpoint. Can log in, and we've got our users, just admin@example. No groups and no tokens because we're not logged in yet. So we want to test our authentication backend now, and we can come to sample usage in the djoser documentation, and we can steal one of the curl requests, which we're going to use to see if we can sign up a new user. I didn't actually mean for that command to go through. Of course we need to change all of this. Our port is 8000 and our path is API v1 and then /users, and then our data is our username djoser and our password is alpine12. Sorry if you heard a motorbike. There you go, we've managed to create a user, and we can actually go into our users, and we've got our djoser user, and there's no email address or anything, and that's something to note. You don't actually need an email address or first name or last name. That's up to us to enforce. The only thing that's required is username and password, and I'm probably going to do what Google does, which is when you sign up, your username is just your email. At least that's what I'm thinking. I don't really see the need to have a username, so we'll see about that. And yes, so we've done that, and we want to go back to our documentation. So it's saying, so far so good, we have created a new user using REST API. Let's access the user's details, and we're going to do a GET request to /users/me, which I believe was somewhere in my that I'm talking about. Test user sign in with the /me endpoint. What I'm saying by test there is basically making sure we get that data. So user registration is tested. That did work, and it's actually going to say, when we try and do this request, I guess we can try the request. It's telling us that we're going to get detail, authentication credentials were not provided. Didn't mean to do the request again. So 800 API v1 users /me. Nevertheless, it's going to say authentication credentials were not provided, which we haven't done. What we need to do is log in to our login path. Let's do all of this. Again, we need to change all of this. 80 API /v1 /token /login, and our data is our username and our password that we just created. And we've been given this token, and this token is what we need to use to log in. The token is basically what we need to have as our header information whenever we're requesting information about ourselves. So, for example, this, we don't care about that, we're just going to go ahead and use the next one with our header information. Of course, this token is incorrect, and the path is incorrect. 80 API /v1 token login. Wait, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I obviously didn't click copy. Guess we can just go ahead and steal all of this. I did it again. It's because I'm hitting Control Shift, which is what we need to do in here. This needs to change. API v1 800 authorization token, and then we need to actually use our token that we were given when we tried to log in. This is our token. Copy, Control V, and we have actually managed to log in, and we've got our own information. So here we're talking about ourselves, and we've got our email, which we haven't actually created, and then our ID and our username, which is djoser. So we've actually confirmed, yay, it works, everything's working, and we can log out, and we need the token 2 in order to log out. So let's just try that. I guess just to have done the whole thing. So we want 00 API v1 token log out authorization token, and we want to give our token, which was this one. That's correct, we're logged out, and now we should try and be able to get our own information again, and it's saying invalid token. Wonderful. So if we go to our checklist, then we've actually tested whether the user can sign in, and we've tested the /me endpoint, demonstrating that we can get information about us when we need to. Awesome. So that's it for today.